chain drug review, and mass market retailers video forum. Brought to you by the Emerson Group.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeffrey Wolt, Editor-in-Chief of Retail Media IQ. Welcome to a special edition of our video forum. Today we're delighted to have as our guest Katie Scanlon, Vice President of Pharmacy at Publix Super Markets. Katie, always wonderful to see you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you as well.
You were recently appointed to your new position, VP of Pharmacy. You've been with Publix a long time. You played a key part in helping build a very strong business. But now that you're the boss, what's next? What do you see as areas where you'd like to build on a great track record of success?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we have a really strong team, and our previous leader laid such good strong groundwork for us and a foundation to continue to grow. We're going to continue to invest in technology to make sure that our pharmacists are actually working on pharmacist tasks, and we'd really like to see that scope of practice, standard of care become the norm, and so that our pharmacists are really out there managing chronic conditions and contributing to health outcomes in a way that we already know that they can do, and we just need the rest of the healthcare ecosystem to validate that and recognize pharmacists for all that they're providing to the system.
Now, central fill is a secret weapon for Publix.
That's
yes?
right, yes.
Okay. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what it does for you, and I know you're expanding your central fill, correct?
Yes, we sure are. Yeah, we're opening our second central fill facility. This is really just a means of adding automation into the dispensing functions of the pharmacy. And again, it's meant to provide a little bit more space and time for our pharmacy staffs at the locations to interact with customers and not be doing tasks that we know we can have central fill do in a very safe and efficient manner.
What other steps are you taking to help your professionals practice at the top of their license and do test and treat and the things of that nature? Sure.
We're really leaning into our software at the pharmacies with clinical interventions to make sure that, hey, our pharmacists understand, this patient's coming in, these are the immunizations that they need, or they're eligible for some adherence counseling. And we're feeding those into workflow. So again, it makes it very seamless for our pharmacy teams to know when these opportunities are available.
You've been involved in the fight against PBM abuses for a long time, both in Florida and on the federal level.
That's right.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about what you think of the recent federal legislation and also what lessons might be learned from your experience in Florida.
Sure, yeah. So I think, it's been a long time in coming and seeing the PBM reform. We know that PBMs, they do have a role in the healthcare system, but I think it's become outsized at the detriment of the practitioners and the pharmacies. I'm so excited to see the work that was done federally. Unfortunately, there's a long runway to actually implement that legislation. So we'd like to see what we can do to urge speeding that up a little bit. And the definition of reasonable and relevant reimbursement is critical to retail pharmacies' success. At the state level, certainly applaud all of the work that's been done. And in Florida, we've seen some key provisions that I think are just leveling the playing field and making sure that we're keeping patient access and patient choice at the top of our priority list, so that our customers have an option to come if they choose to use Publix Pharmacy, that they can come. If we've come to an agreement on rates, we should be able to service those patients.
And I know you were in Tallahassee a lot, lobbying for this to get done. Are there lessons from Florida that might benefit NACDS on the national level as we try to take another step?
Sure, yeah. I think it's, really kind of diving into some more of the nuances and understanding that we don't contract with PBMs at a state-by-state level, right? It's really at the federal level. And the legislation that's been passed so far impacts Medicare, but not the rest of our lines of business. And so really trying to drive that so it becomes, across the board, and we're not trying to manage, 8 different states' PBM reform rules.
Should there be federal regulation of pharmacy, one standard that everyone can adhere to rather than 50 different standards?
Sure, and I think there are some measures that would be beneficial. Again, this defining reasonable and relevant reimbursement and just ensuring that pharmacies are not being forced into a position to fill prescriptions at a loss. I mean, no business should be expected to do that. So I think anything we can do to make sure that there is, again, a fair and level playing field, if that can happen at the federal level, that would be amazing. And I think really getting into like the scope of practice for pharmacists and not, going to every state, for every different test and treat program, or, pharmacists come out of pharmacy school, they know how to immunize, they are the immunization experts, they know how to manage chronic conditions, and we don't need to be going before each board of pharmacy at every single state. And, in some states it's the board of pharmacy, some states it's the legislature, and like, how do we just get to a more cohesive understanding of what pharmacist services are? And again, it's really for patients. It's a critical access point where we're really missing the boat right now on making sure that they can see their pharmacist, and then we can prevent those longer term, much costlier health outcomes.
How optimistic are you that ECAPs will be enacted sometime soon?
I, maybe overly optimistic, but again, I think it just makes sense. It's something that, we need this more common sense, just like PBM reform. This was a bipartisan issue. I think anyone who understands the ask, it makes sense.
A couple of final questions for you. There's a boom in GLP-1s, and
Yes.
Publix has made a few moves recently to try and help those customers, those patients. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're a pharmacy and a grocery store, and these are patients that are going on a wellness journey, and we want to be out by their side and help them understand. We have the tools within the store to support them that, while you're taking a GLP-1, it's super important to also modify your eating habits, making sure you're getting the protein and nutrients that you need to help maintain that muscle mass, getting the fiber. And so, yeah, we are really excited about the opportunity to really step into that wellness journey and help patients, especially with their nutrition, as they move through that process.
Final question. Technology has already changed the pharmacy profession. Now we're seeing AI and generative AI. How are you looking at those tools? How are you going to work them into your workflow, and also how will it affect the relationship with patients?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think we're cautious about adopting AI, but certainly looking at how we can enhance our customer experience, not never to replace our high level of customer service and associate interaction that Publix is known for, but really to enhance the experience, to make sure that we can offer, a communication with the patient at any time that's convenient for them, especially in a meaningful way that drives those health outcomes.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep Publix on the cutting edge, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Great to
having
see
me.
you.
I appreciate it. So good to see you.